Assalamualaikum and very good day to all of you. Today I will share about what was my member group and I has done with our final project assessment. The main topic we was choose is Texas City Refinery Explosions. The table content in the presentation is about the first one is introduction, the second one is overview, third is problem, the next is suggestion, and the last one is conclusions. I will cover the introduction about application safety and health. Introduction. In semester 1, we all students in diploma section need to carry out and study about application safety and health before stepping into the world of work. Work-related Safety and Health Act 1994 is an act that given the administrative structure to make sure about the security. It was periodically on 24 February 1994 and referring to as the War-Related Wellbeing and Wellbeing Act 1994. This act is a functional instrument cover on exciting security and well-being enhancement. Other than that, to build up the National Council for Occupational Safety and Health and for issue associated therewith. There are a few goals of OSHA 1994 that express under which is right off the bat for making sure about the security, well-being and government assistance of individual at work. Also skill at work, environment order the representative. Thirdly, advance a reasonable climate for individual at work. In conclusion, empower part enhancement to be supplemented by guideline and affirmed industry code of work on working in mix with the OSHA 1994. The act comprising of 50 sections in empowering measure which is supremosted over exciting well-being and well-being enhancement. This report is pertinent about Texas City Refinery Explosion, which tell of an accident or accident that occurred at the time. This incident happened at roughly 1:20 p.m. on March 23, 2005. A progression of blast happened at the BP testing city treatment facility during the restarting of a hydrocarbon isomerization unit. Next is 15 specialists were executed and 100 others were harmed. A large number of casualties were in or around work trails situated close to a climatic vent stack. That's all from me. I will pass it to another group member to proceed with their presentation.
Overview about the accident. BP's in-house experts as well as various authorities and committees investigated the explosion in relation to technical, organizational and safety culture aspects. The results of the technical investigation of a team of BP experts were summarized in the so-called Mockford report. The finding with regard to the organizational aspects and the responsibility of management in the so-called Boss report. The U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board examined both the technical aspects and the responsibility of the supervisory authorities. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, reviewed in the aftermath the compliance in relation to the various legal requirements. Details about the accident. BP had started a protracted upkeep project at their Texas City refinery, which required over 1,000 contractual workers on location alongside representatives. In the early long stretches of Wednesday, March 23, 2005, laborers started the beginning up cycles of unit by siphoning both monthly flammable fluid into a raffinate splitter pinnacle, which would typically have 2 meters of fluid at its base. Fluid stator sensor and 2 alert frameworks for sensors of 2 meter and 3 meter were introduced to measure and report the tallness of fluid in the pinnacle to the administrators and waste cultures if the fluid reached 2 meter and 3 meter respectively. As worker moistened fluid into the splitter pinnacle, the fluid came to and surpassed the 3 meter mark. Setting of the 2 meter alarm yet not the 3 meter. As the feed surpassed 3 meter, when the feed was stopped and the toner sensor announced 3 meter, while in established rules, the pinnacle is accepted to have reached 4 meter. Around 10 minutes after fact as feature of the ordinary cycle, administrators lead burners in the heater to warm up the fluid being taken care of to the splitter pinnacle. With the level control valve actually shut, the pinnacle fluid level rose and the head meter announced a tolerance of under 3 meter notwithstanding. Estimations show that the fluid arrived at 42 meters. At 1 p.m., the level control valve was opened, following a high wind caution that caused a manual elevation valve to be opened. This balanced out fluid level. This made fluid in the pinnacle bubble and grow, causing the fluid level in the pinnacle to rise. Minutes after the fact, the 42 meter limit splitter pinnacle was totally full, and fluid flowed through an overhead line down 45 meters and constrained upon every one of the 3 security relief waves. Close to the base of the pinnacle, this wave diverted over 200,000 low flammable fluid to the blow-down drum of significantly lower limit. Analysis of the Texas City refinery explosion. Trailers were arrangement between the catalyst warehouse and the isomerization unit, isolated from the unit by a rack of line conveying exceptionally flammable fluid. Not exclusively was this referring to one against by security experts. It very well may be seen that perpetual of-risk structures were raised sensibly far away from unsafe material and gear. At the opposite end of the refinery, no passing happened at this lasting structure. Trailer region and adjoining isomerization unit second, representative and support laborers knew how unsafe the isomerization startup process was. However, no cautioned the agreements about the beginning up, as such contracts were uninformed of what was going on until the emission unrest. This could have effectively been forestalled if trailer staff were educated, or better actually, eliminated from harm's way until the beginning up cycle was finished. There was a security meeting that day. Over 300 individuals were in participation and nothing was said about the start-up going to begin.
Next, the problem statement. Investigating this pressure spike, the dashboard operator fully opened the level control valve to the heavy raffinate storage tank and shut off the gas fueling the furnace. But the raffinate's feed into the splitter tower was not shut off. Hot raffinate flowed into the blowdown drum and stack, and as it filled, some of it started to flow into the ISOM unit sewer system via a 6-inch equal to 15 cm pipeline at the base of the blowdown drum. However, the high-level alarm for the blowdown drum didn't sound as the blowdown drum and stack filled up. Hot raffinate shot out of the top of the stack and into the air, forming a 20 foot equal to 6 meter geyser. The hot raffinate rained down on the ground, ran down the side of blowdown drum and stack. The pull at the base of the unit, a radio call was received in the control room that hot hydrocarbons were overflowing from the stack. A diesel pickup truck when its engine left idling had been carelessly parked about 25 feet equal to 8 meters from the blowdown stack. The vapor cloud reached the vehicle and hydrocarbon fumes were drawn into the engine's air intake, causing the engine to race. Nearby workers frantically tried to shut down the engine without success. The cloud forced the workers who were trying to shut down the overspeeding truck engine to retreat. The cloud continued to spread across the ISOM plant, across the pipe rack to the west and into the trailer area unimpeded. No emergency alarm sounded, and at approximately 1:20 p.m., the vapor cloud was ignited by a backfire seen from the overheating truck engine by nearby witnesses, producing a massive explosion that was heard for miles. The blast pressure wave struck the contractor trailers, completely destroying or severely damaging many of them. The explosion sent debris flying, instantly killing 15 people in around the trailers and severely injuring 180 others. The pressure wave was so powerful it blew out windows of sight up to 3/4 of a mile, equal to 1.2 km away, an area estimated at 200,000 square feet, equal to 1900 meter square. Of the refinery was badly burned by the subsequent fire that followed the violent explosion, damaging millions of dollars worth of refinery equipment. The entire ISOM unit was severely damaged by the explosion and subsequent fire, and as a result remained out of operation for more than 2 years. The factors included the unintentional release of substance, the operating instructions, as well as their compliance with the commissioning of the rectification column, the work control policies, and the structure of the trailers and the design of the blowout vessel. Investigated the level of compliance by plant managers with BP's management frameworks and corporate code of conduct. The final report, which was only released to the public after a court ordered it on May 3, 2007, identified numerous management failures. It further noted that management responsibilities within BP Group were unclear, and that the poor state of the plant equipment and the insufficiency of spending on maintenance were contributing factors to the accident. The CSB report, given the extent of the disaster, the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board examined both the safety management in the Texas City refinery and the role of the BP Group, as well as the role of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration (OSHA) as a regulator body. The results of the investigation of the agency were published in a 300-page-long report on 20 March 2007. The CSB found that organizational and safety deficiencies at all organizational levels of BP contributed to the refinery explosions, such as cost cuts and spending cuts in the safety area. Although a large part of the refinery infrastructures and process equipment were in poor condition. In addition, the committee said that BP had cut the budget for training and reduced staff. Furthermore, the CSB found that OSHA had a supervising authority failed to carry out planned inspection of the refinery and did not enforce safety rules. Although there were many warning signs after the explosion, OSHA found 301 violations of requirements and imposed a fine of US 21 million. The CSB found that only a limited number of OSHA inspectors received the specialist training and experience necessary for complex investigations in refineries. The CSB issues a recommendation to develop a guideline for understanding, recognizing, and dealing with fatigue during shift work. The directive API recommended practice 755 provided guidance for refineries, petrochemical and chemical plants and other facilities on how to deal with fatigue syndromes. Fatigue Risk Management System (FRMS). These guidelines include recommendations for work on rotating shifts for the maximum number of overtime hours and the numbers of days to be worked on without interruption.
Now, we will jump into conclusion, the last part in our report. All in all, the debacle at Texas City was totally preventable. Key quick advance by operator on the day might have forestalled the mishap. Nonetheless, the vital reason for the disaster was a non-stop inability to gain from close to misses, a non-attendance of well-being society, and persistent absence of parallel interaction by the executive staff, even after very close to miss on numerous machines. Likewise, lots need could be accused for the debacles, as venture in safety and parallel interaction were not made after BP's obtaining a almost cost of this refinery. Rather, work cuts and helpless outkeep culture, which saved BP a huge number of dollars when it. That's all from me. Thank you.